So, I have all sorts of stuff to say, nothing that really matters about anything, just stuff. Last night, Stella could not sleep at all. Oh my God, it was such a shitty night. She just going around the house, bitching and moaning, crying, and oh my God, I was so irritated. She kept going up and ringing the bell and wanting to go out. She was having such a fit. Finally, I was like, okay, fine. And I got up. It was like 1:30 or 1 something. And I was like, ugh. So I let her out. But did she go run out and go to the bathroom and come back in? No. That's what irritates me. She wants to go out. She wants to walk around. It's freezing cold. You can't just leave her out. And plus, I think it's dangerous here to leave your dog out overnight. Like, there's creepy people around here. So, you know, I don't want to leave her outside while I'm sleeping, but she won't come in. I even put on my robe and tried to go out and get her, and she just took off running. She was being such a brat. I can't believe it. She's in such a mood. She won't eat her medicine. She hadn't eaten again this morning. I don't know. She's just struggling. But I feel like everybody is struggling. I mean, I know I am. My head, my shoulder, all my joints. Trying to sleep, it's like, oh, I just know it's the toxins. One of my daughters messaged me this morning and said she has another UTI. It's like, you gotta, I mean, everything is arsenic poisoning as far as I'm concerned. Everything, everybody's reactions that they're having in their body, their sicknesses, everything has to do with some sort of toxins, poisons, and stuff that's in our system. And it's meant to deplete our immunity so that it just keeps us sick, you know, keeps us down. I mean, all of the new stuff is to keep you down and depressed. And then they interject their, you know, all their trauma in with commercials for Big Pharma. I mean, you can see their agenda is so clear. I went on and looked at the main news thing, which over here, it kind of got light again, like right before 6. It still has gone totally 12 hours of daylight. How it just went suddenly. It's just as weird. There was not like a more gradual buildup. Like, how did it go? When is daylight savings time? April? I don't know. It just seems weird. It seems like it would still be more dark for more hours than to just suddenly switch and be like so dark all day long, and then all of a sudden it's just boom, 12 hours of daylight. It's like, I don't know. I don't believe anything. Everything is just out of whack to me. And then when they're showing all the pictures of, you know, the Ukraine and Russia or wherever they're showing, it just looks like, you know, it's been in battle for so long. I don't know. Everything is just, you know, manipulation. It's just to create their reality that they're trying to create. And everything that happens in all these different pockets and places is for those souls. Those souls chose to go to that place, to go through that experience, because that is what they wanted to, you know, either close out cycles or experience or learn from or whatever, because, you know, this is a school. So I was just watching this movie this morning, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I didn't know what it was going to be about. It just said it was a thriller. It was an old crime British thriller. And so it was this girl who got murdered in the beginning, and then they're trying to solve the crime. And the girl who got married, got murdered, she was black, but she looked white. Like, nobody knew that she was white, they thought. And they didn't even know that she was black, until her brother came to claim her body, or, you know, see her or identify her or whatever. And he was really black. And so then they were like, you know, you're her brother? And so he explained that they had a black parent and a white parent, and each of them she came out more white looking, so she could pass for white, but she didn't, you know, she didn't tell people or anything. Everything was so much more hidden, you know, back then. Like, people were so much more judgmental. So in this movie, like while they're trying to solve the crime and stuff, the one detective, he gets a lot of points of making, like how racism makes no sense. And this was an old movie. It was like from the 40s or something. And he was making a lot of point. Could have been this, I think it was the 40s, how the people were dressed and stuff. But anyways, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But he kept making a lot of good points about racism, and it doesn't make any sense. It's just the color of your skin. And then the one cop, he just wanted to pin it on a black person. He didn't care. He didn't care if it could have been a white person that felt tricked and decided to murder her, that they just wanted to pin it on a black person. The other person, he wanted to get down to who really committed the crime. So that was kind of like the premise going through the story, and them going and talking to all the different people and showing, but it kind of shows like how people were back then, like when they would talk to people. Like one woman, when she found out the girl who got killed was living in this, I don't know, like a halfway kind of house, like a student home kind of thing where a whole bunch of kids lived, and then they all went to school. So I'm not sure what they called them back then, but it had like an old lady, and she rented out all these rooms in her house to students. And when she found out that when the girl's brother came to the door, she was so rude. Oh my God. People did not care at all how rude they were to somebody. Like they had no empathy. Like the color of their skin really made a difference to how much empathy someone showed somebody. They had no compassion for somebody if they weren't the same color. And it was, but that right there shows what these souls had to learn. They had to learn to look past the color of the avatar. And so that was interesting. But what it kept reminding me of was this more current kind of situation that we have going all the time, are these trans ladies that go out and then people find out that they were born a man and then they kill them. Like a trans woman has such a high rate of mortality. It's crazy how many of them get killed. It's super sad. Why can't people just let people be? You know, why? Why, if you get attracted to somebody, why would you get so angry at them and then want to lash out at them and kill them? You know, because you're so angry at yourself. What are you so angry at yourself for? You're so angry because you were tricked. You were so angry because you were attracted to somebody who had a penis. You're so like, you know, what is going on inside the person? That's the kind of stuff that their soul is there to learn and expand on. So a lot of the things that seem so traumatic to us, like, oh my God, this is so horrible. You know, all these horrible things happening all the time, are each individual soul playing out these experiences so it can grow. So this kind of stuff stops, because it won't stop until souls grow and learn it and understand it and know it. And so, you know, that's why it's so traumatic to some of us who can see, like, we've already know this stuff, and it's hard to watch someone else learn it. And, but it just totally reminded me of that with, how many girls, and there would still be cops that would want to pin it, you know, well, a normal white person wouldn't do that. And, you know, I was thinking about the reason why they push so hard on the white people and stuff. I think it's those blue blood people. You know, I think it goes all the way back to then, and how they manipulate people's minds to keep division and stuff like that. Because I think when people generally are around each other and get to know each other, that they don't have problems with each other. I think, she was chewing something up. I think that stuff is manufactured to, you know, mess with our heads. And I think that definitely the blue bloods have been out to exterminate people of color, all colors, doesn't matter, because I really believe that there's something to our soul being able to understand more of itself or something. There's some connection with blood and melanin. So there's something that is carries our soul more, or it's easier to be in contact with your soul. There's something that they want to. That's why, you know, the huge agenda on the whiteness. It's because they're taking out they're trying to take out the soul. And so, you know, they're trying to tell us like, oh, someone is lower than us or less than us, but really they just carry more of this harmonic kind of energy. It's just there's being so much manipulation of their lives, you know, keeping them oppressed, keeping them contained. But that's what they do to everyone. Just everyone doesn't notice it as much because it's been so clear what they've done to them for so long. But it is like this guy in the movie The Brother who, when they were talking to him, because the one cop was real focused on the racism, and the brother said, you know, that one time he shook a white guy's hand, and the guy looked at his hand and said, oh, the color didn't come off onto my hand. It's like people were so ignorant. The whole thing with like weren't allowed to share water fountains. Like that was for a long time. You know, they weren't allowed to go in the same bars, the same restaurants. And when I was watching Pose, and they were showing when the gay guys started becoming like more out, like, hey, we're going to be gay, we want to be gay, we're going to do what we want to do. And they started like having gay bars. They were kind of hidden in the shadows, but they could go in there safely, you know, and they weren't like mainstream. She's hitting into the thing, she's chewing on something. They weren't mainstream. They were kind of more hidden. But, you know, I mean, if you have to find your own people and you have to go hide in the corners, you know, people do that. So, but in Pose, when it started being the drag kind of, you know, the ones that were more, it wasn't trans because they weren't doing the surgery. Well, I don't know when the first surgery was, but it sure wasn't as common as it is now. It's way more than it was back then. I think then it was just more cross-dressing. And so there was a lot of gay guys who felt female and would dress up like girls. Well, they wouldn't let them in the bars. They would be kicked out. See how people just get so much like they're just their group. No, you can't come. It doesn't matter if they're constantly, what is that word? It's just like they're separating themselves. They limit themselves. They go by the like the recipe that everybody has got to be, you know, like if you're going to come and hang out with us, then you have to be like us in all these different groups. And, you know, why do people get so much like they can't accept others? If somebody, like if you had a gay bar back a long time ago and guys came in dressed as girls, then why wouldn't you just accept them and let them be there too? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So they have to go start their own group. But I think that is what is going to be a part of why we're going to go into different communities. But I don't think it's going to be like how it was before, where other people won't accept different people. I think it's going to be a lot more, you know, people who are more like-minded will build communities. And I don't think it's going to be so, it'll be more like-minded, but it won't be so much cultural. Like, it won't be like, well, you're a different color or you're different. Like, I don't see the communities, like, I think a community could have, it'd be based more like on how they see the world, what they want for their communities. It won't be about like, oh, well, you're gay, go over to the gay community. It would be more of, if you're like-minded, then let's build our community. So I think it's going to be more like that, not so division how it has been, but there will still be communities of like-minded people, but I think it's going to be a lot more accepting. I don't think we're going to go into division. I think it's going to go so much more into unity. I mean, that's the only way that you can be in the age of Aquarius. It will be about unity. And another thing too, and this was making me think about this, there was a couple of things, but this morning I was watching this thing on Doc Martens. I have a couple of pairs, and I was already thinking about like the quality of them before, but this little video this guy did was about how they were made super, oh my gosh, I can't believe how well they were made. But they were like handmade back in the day, and they were super comfortable, and they were like old women, workers, all sorts of people wore them because of the comfort, and had a really thick sole kind of thing, you know, like that was comfortable. And they were super cheap. What sounds super cheap to us now was because they were $3, but then they went, but for us, it would have seemed like $50. That was just, you know, before inflation. And so they were like $3, which was, you know, kind of expensive to them back then, but they would last forever. You get a pair and you'd have them forever. And so what happened is a family was making these boots, and then they sold it, just like what I've been talking about. All these, that's what has happened to the quality of our stuff. People would make some good, and then they'd have people sweep in to buy it, and then they, oh, well, now we're going to make it over here, and then they reduce the quality. So this even had a guy who, they had a shoe repair guy break down the different pairs and compare them. And he said that it was a better quality, and the shoes would last a lot longer when they were made before. Now that they're so mass made, he said that the quality was still good, but there were still corners that were cut. But that is, you know, that's the difference of when corporations take over for people. And that's why I keep saying it's not gonna be like that anymore. If people want to have quality products, it's gonna be them having that product and distributing it. It won't be like the corporations are all so entangled with themselves. Like, you know, Johnson & Johnson owns Kellogg, that owns, I don't know, Monsanto or whatever. All of them, they're all owned. Like, you keep going up and up and up, and they all are the same families. They're all from the same group of people. It's just, and they put all of their people in as CEOs, and that's why so many are being arrested right now. So many CEOs are being taken down. And what will happen to all these corporations, I don't know. I just don't personally think it's going to keep going. I think this is the end of the corporation. This is the end of government. This is the end of our education system. This is the end of how we get our food. It's the end of how we interact with each other. Like, everything is going to change. All of this stuff going on with everything everywhere, you know, there's nothing worse going on for one person than another. Like, yeah, there could be people in the Ukraine that are being bombed and terrorized, but you have, you know, people all over the world that are going through this same kind of tyranny and loss and fear, because it is what is to awaken the soul. So they show us certain ones, like I've said. They'll, you know, slam certain things on the TV just to keep us in trauma, so that we're like, oh my God, I need to drink, I need some pharmaceuticals, I need street drugs, whatever. It's just, you know, they keep us so on edge, so anxious, and people don't really know how to detach. It feels like you're not paying close enough attention. Like, when you are pulled into this, like there's a war going on. But that's what some of these people need to do. They need to be pulled in. If you're being pulled in, it's because your soul told you, or it's your soul path. If you're being pulled into it, it's to awaken you, to help you to realize what's going on. Because all of the souls get this opportunity to wake up. That's what I've said since the beginning. Every soul is going to get an opportunity. All the people that were going around saying, oh, these people are asleep, they're never going to wake up, these people, it's all their fault why all this is happening. No, it's all been everything has been to awaken people. And if you're already awake, it's to teach you something else. And so you get a good hard look at yourself. You know, like, how do I react under pressure? Do I lash out? Do I freak out? Do I go get drunk? You know, all of those things. That's why I've said all along, this is so you have a big mirror in front of yourself. So you get to see just you. Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else, but all of a sudden, all they're going to be able to see is themselves. And that is when you go into the dark night. Because when you start seeing yourself, I think it's pretty automatic. You start judging yourself like, oh my God, why would I do that? Oh my God, I didn't know I was such a bully. I didn't know I was so biased. I didn't know I was so ignorant. Those kinds of things that you have to look at. And then it is just healing them. But a lot of people, I don't know that everybody will be able to do that. But, not everybody's here to do that. But the people who are, this is this opportunity. This is the ascension. This is the changing of the ages. So that's why I keep talking about, focus on your healing. That is what matters. That's what makes a difference. You can't change the world. The world is changing itself. The world was the way it was so that we could learn how to be better people, how to be less judgmental, how to be more compassionate. And we have. Watch some old movies and you see, like, people have changed. These things, that seem very traumatic have changed us into being better. And that is why we are at this point. They want to act like that we are, we are the ones who are going to exterminate ourselves. When it's, no, we are being systematically murdered by people who want control of everything. So, it is all about just this realization of facing you and yourself. And yeah, there's a lot to face in this world. It's all been lies. It's all been deceit. And it's all been to keep you small. This is the whole thing, is to keep you small so that you are, a quiet little slave. They'll get you hooked on the pharmaceuticals, and then they get you tricked into thinking that you're old and sick, and then they, I thought of a movie the other day. I might have already said this. I constantly think of these, but it was a commercial, and it was for like older people. It was one of those like little things like, oh, press the button and we'll come running. You're never alone. You can live in your home forever. We'll be there for you. You just have this little safety button to push in your home. And I was like, oh my God, that would be like, I can totally see the ambulance pulling up, but the ambulance is privately owned and the people are all trained, and there's all sorts of protocols, administrative protocols to come in and what you need to do. And I don't think anybody survives once you get the little button. It's only a matter of time. You push the button, not very many people, make it to the hospital, is what I would think, alive. They were more headed towards the morgue, because that is what they're doing. When it very first showed that they got all those sick people and they took all the sick people to the nursing home, that should have been so clear to so many people. But, I don't know. Maybe because I've worked in nursing homes when I was in nursing school. That's where you have to go and work in the beginning, because they're not as sick. A lot of them could be home. But, it's our culture. Go stick them in a place so you don't have to bother with them, and then we'll take care of it. We'll kill them for you. It's sad. It's a sad place to be. And and then people aren't treated with respect and dignity as they're aging, and it should be. And that's what we will change our culture into. Oh, my throat is so raw right now. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.